A very good evening. You are watching Primetime News on TV1. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Stephen Machado.
And I'm Karuni Karunaratna. Here are tonight's top stories.
National mission launched to eradicate drug menace. President warns, cut ties with underworld or face action.
විශාල ප්‍රමාණයක් වැඩ තාම ලක් කරලා තියෙනවා. අපි අනෙක් සියලු නිලධාරියන්ට කියන්නේ වහාම එම ජාලයෙන් ඉවත් වෙන්න. ඔබගේ යුනිෆෝම් එකේ ගෞරවය ආරක්ෂා කරන ඉදිරියට යන්න. එසේ නැත්නම් එක වහාම මෙම කාර්යයන් ඉවත් නොවුණු අපි ඉවත් කරනවා.
Transport crackdown. School, office and special vehicles regulated. One dead, one missing in tragic high seas boat accident. China-US leaders sign trade consensus.
In your top story for tonight, President Anurukumara Dissanayake today issued a stern warning to the police, tri-forces and public officials, urging them to immediately sever any connections with drug trafficking networks. The President emphasized that strict action will be taken to remove anyone who fails to disengage from such networks. He made these remarks this morning in Colombo, addressing the launch ceremony of the nationwide operation, A United Nation.
President Anurukumara Dissanayake today inaugurated a United Nation, the national mission to eliminate the drug menace from Sri Lanka at the Sugatadasa Indoor Stadium in Colombo. The event was attended by members of the Mahasangha and other religious leaders, Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya, several ministers, members of public safety committees, athletes, police officers, tri-forces personnel and a number of foreign diplomats.
Remember this, every unresolved crime in our country has had political protection behind it. Why have the murders of Lasanta and Tajuddin or the assaults on journalists never been solved? Not because of police incompetence, but because of political protection. If we empower our police and relevant authorities, these crimes can be crushed, they can be defeated. But who denied them that power? The political authority. I say this not out of any political bias or party division, but because of the gravity of this tragedy. The underworld drug network grew under political protection. That is a fact. Let me be clear. Their first source of power was political power, and that era is now over. We have full confidence in the role played by the police. Some officers are afraid of the prisons. Even today, some major crimes are being operated from within prisons, broadcast live on Facebook. Take the recent Veligam incident. It was streamed right as it happened. Some of those who are involved in these are afraid, some are trapped, and others are bought with money. But despite all that, today the Sri Lanka police has stepped forward with commitment to launch this national operation. As they do so, those officers inevitably become enemies of criminals. From the voices rising against them, we can clearly identify who the criminals are and who stands behind them. In the coming days, I know several more police officers will face criticism. That's what happens when the job is done right. We finally say this, to all those addicted and to those who profit from addiction, withdraw immediately. We are building a powerful people's movement against you. This movement will destroy this deceitful storm and free our children.
The President also stressed that a state within a state cannot exist, vowing to eliminate the so-called black state operating within official institutions.
How did state-owned firearms end up in the hands of criminals? Reports confirm that 73 T-56 rifles from several military camps have been taken by these groups. Of them, around 35 have already been recovered, along with the required ammunition. A senior army colonel has been arrested for supplying the weapons, and money has been traced to his bank accounts. A police officer even sold his firearm and fled. In many investigations, we have uncovered direct links to police officers. At the Department of Motor Traffic and the RMV, Vehicle number plates have been issued without vehicles. Recently in Gampaha, a police officer was arrested with 2 fake number plates. At the Department of Immigration and Immigration, some officers have issued passports for underworld leaders. In one case, fingerprints of a passport were given by a bookseller from the Peta bus stand, claiming to be someone else. These operations reveal a parallel black state created to serve the interests of criminals. I assure you, this country cannot have 2 states. There can be only one, founded on the democratic power of the people. The black state will be destroyed. This issue has even infiltrated political parties. Some criminals are now becoming MPs and chairmen. Reports have reached us that some are preparing separate candidate lists for upcoming elections, backed by underworld influence. We are now at a decisive hour to end this. Many people have told me, if you don't do this, no one else will. Some others have said, son, if you can just finish this one task, that's enough. I believe this is the most challenging era for the police. Many officers have already been suspended. To all remaining officers, I say this: immediately step away from these networks. Uphold the dignity of your uniform and move forward. If not, withdraw immediately, or we will remove you. We also tell all state officials supporting such activities to disengage at once. Let me be clear, no one is hidden anymore. Everyone knows who's involved. Remember that. If anyone still believes they can hide, they cannot. So I urge everyone, step away immediately.
ආදාමෙන් ඉවත් වෙනු. මම හැම දිනකටම කියනවා තව දුරටත් ඒ කිසි කෙනෙක් සැඟවිලා නැහැ. ඔක්කොම දන්නවා. ඒ බව විතරක් මතක තියාගන්න. කවුරු හරි හිතනවා සැඟවිලා කියලා නේ සැඟවිලා නැහැ. ඒ නිසා අපි හැම දිනකටම කියන්නේ වහම ඉවත් වෙන්න.
Afterward, the national pledge of a United Nations National Mission was declared.
නාගතය පිළිබඳ අපේක්ෂාවන්ට බාධා කරවන ජාතික ව්‍යසනයක් නිර්මාණය කරනු ලැබ ඇත.
Simultaneously with the launch of the United Nations National Mission in Colombo, parallel initiatives were commenced across the country today. As part of the national mission, a united nation to eradicate the drug menace, the President's Media Division has announced the activation of a dedicated hotline 1818 for the public to report drug-related activities and seek assistance. The 1818 hotline will serve as a central platform for citizens to report drug trafficking and abuse and share information on suspicious activities. Up next is Action TV. The Westminster parliamentary system frowns upon legislators engaging in business with the government, deeming it unethical. Yet, in Sri Lanka's parliament, which follows this same tradition, such lines are often blurred. Action TV recently revealed a startling case. Parliamentarian Hesha Vithanage had issued a letter lobbying for the appointment of an agent for the National Lotteries Board. On the 3rd of February 2017, Parliamentarian Hesha Vithanage wrote to the then director of the National Lotteries Board, specifically requesting that his wife be appointed as the NLB agent for Ratnapura. The matter exploded when it was revealed that the wife of MP Hesha Vithanage had subsequently failed to pay over 2.1 million rupees due to the National Lotteries Board. Action TV immediately pointed out that the failure to settle this amount, which is 20 rupees per ticket due to the NLB, constitutes a clear misuse of public funds. 7 months and 10 days after Action TV's initial revelation, Parliamentarian Hesha Vithanage finally addressed the allegations at a media briefing in Colombo today.
I have been accused of issuing a letter for the appointment of an agent of the National Lotteries Board. That is true. I admit to that. Not just this letter, but since the day I became a politician, I have issued letters to all of my friends if they asked for it. I will continue to do so in the future as well.
The fact that the MP, in his own statement, admits he will continue to use his political power for the benefits of his friends and family serves as a stark indication for the general public regarding the state of political patronage. At a media briefing held yesterday, the chairman of the National Lotteries Board revealed that complaints regarding the default in payments due from the MP's wife had been filed at the Fort Police Station and the Police Anti-Corruption Unit.
She said that she was unable to pay the money because her representatives had failed to settle the money to her. Then the anti-corruption unit summoned all of her representatives and questioned them. They said that they had made all payments properly and that she is lying. Now, while the complaint is being inquired into, the money has been deposited to the account. Now, the National Lotteries Board has to stop all their work and go after his sister-in-law and wife to recover this money that the people have already paid for the tickets.
Although the overdue money was eventually paid, the legal interest accrued on the delay has not been settled. This remains an outstanding public debt. Furthermore, the responsibility of repaying this due is complicated because the application forwarded by parliamentarian Hesha Vitanage's wife for the agency explicitly lists the MP's email address under contact details, linking him directly to the business. Despite these facts, the MP issued a fiery challenge to the NLB chairman.
I challenge the chairman of the National Lotteries Board to go to court if either me, my wife or any of my relatives have defrauded not 25 million but even 25 cents from the government. Do not just host media shows. You have to go to court. When a person is appointed as a representative, a contract is signed. You can enforce the agreement. You are saying that there has been a default. If anyone connected to Hesha has defaulted, the first thing that you should do is go to court.
හේෂාගේ කවුරු හරි පොල්ලක් තියලා තියෙනවා ඔබතුමාට තියෙන්නේ පළවෙනියටම අධිකරණයට යන්න.
The other challenge issued by the MP to the board's chairman is also timely and important. That is because the Bribery Commission has recently called for all documents relating to money defaulted to the National Lotteries Board and the Development Lotteries Board by politicians and their relatives, suggesting this scandal may be the tip of the iceberg.
අපි දන්නවා සිරසේ ඉතිහාසය පුරාවටම
We know that through the history of Sirasa, they have done justice to the people of the country. You can come on Sirasa. I can't just speak with the chairman while he's at home. You come on Sirasa, bring all your documents and make those accusations.
ඉන්දගෙන කතා කරලා ඔබතුමාගේ ගාව තියෙන ඩොකියුමන්ට් එක අරන් ඔබතුමා ඇවිල්ලා චෝදනාව කරන්නකෝ.
Action TV is ready to facilitate this public challenge once the MP has formally issued it to the chairman of the National Lotteries Board.
The Colombo High Court today ordered that the case filed by the Attorney General against a group of military intelligence officers over the abduction and disappearance of journalist Prageet Eknaligoda be taken up again on the 5th of December.
When the case was taken up before the Colombo High Court today, Judge Sujeeva Nissanka, member of the three-judge bench, stated that appointments have not yet been made to fill the remaining vacancies on the bench. The judge noted that it is expected that judges will be appointed to these vacant positions soon, and until then the case was postponed to the 5th of December. The defendants in the case include 9 members of the military intelligence, including former commanding officer of the Giritale Army Camp, Shammi Kumara Ratna. When the case was called up today, all of the defendants were present in open court. According to the charges filed by the Attorney General, the defendants, along with several unidentified individuals, are accused under the Penal Code of abducting and causing the death of journalist Prageet Eknaligoda around the 25th January 2010 or on a date close to it in the areas of Giritale, Habarana and Kottawa with the intention of illegally detaining him.
Once again, the case was postponed today. This has happened several times before because the judge bench has not been fully appointed. At the moment, only one judge remains on the three-judge bench. Due to that reason, the case has been postponed again, this time to the 5th of December.
Lanka දිනයකට කල් ගියේ දෙසැම්බර් මාසේ 5 වෙනිදාට
4 fishermen who survived an accident in the multi-day fishing vessel Keshan Putha 1, which had set out to sea 2 months ago from the Dondra Fisheries Harbour, have been taken aboard the Sri Lankan Navy ship Sirasa. Sri Lankan Navy said that one fisherman from the vessel died in international waters of the southeast of Sri Lanka and another fisherman is missing, while an Indonesian vessel had rescued the rest of the fishermen. The SLNS Sirasa is scheduled to arrive in Sri Lanka tonight.
The Keshan Puta 1 vessel was set out to sea with 6 fishermen on the 31st of August from the Donbra Fisheries Harbour. The Department of Fisheries stated that the vessel capsized and was involved in an accident in international waters near the Maldives. The fishermen who were aboard had been swept away towards the Indonesian waters. Navy spokesperson Commander Buddhika Sampath stated that 1 fisherman went missing at the time the vessel met with the accident. Another fisherman died from drowning. The Navy media spokesperson said that the surviving fishermen stated they had released the body of the deceased fisherman into the sea. The vessel met with the accident approximately 350 nautical miles southeast of Sri Lanka. The 4 rescued fishermen were taken into the custody of the Navy today. The 4 fishermen rescued were Poshita Nimanta, Shanaka Amila, Oshan Madhushankar and Dhammika Lakmal.
Newsfirst with the people.
Donald Trump says the U.S. can sign a trade deal with China pretty soon, following talks with Chinese President Xi Jinping in South Korea.
He announces lower tariffs on Chinese imports and says the issue over U.S. access to rare earths has been settled, but Beijing is yet to comment. Trump's announcements will be seen as a breakthrough after trade tensions had ramped up again between the world's 2 largest economies. Chinese leader Xi Jinping and US President Donald Trump held a landmark meeting in South Korea that could reset the volatile relationship between the world's 2 largest economies and rival superpowers. Both leaders offered warm remarks at the start of the talks, their first face-to-face in 6 years, at an airbase in the coastal city of Busan, near to where an international summit is taking place. Trump praised Xi as the great leader of a great country and said he thought the two were going to have a fantastic relationship for a long period of time, while the Chinese leader said it was a great pleasure to see Trump after many years. The 2 leaders then sat down for talks.
Well, thank you very much. It's a great honor to be with a friend of mine, really for a long time now, if you think about it, the very, very distinguished and respected President of China. And we will be having some discussions. I think we've already agreed to a lot of things, and we'll agree to some more right now. But President Xi is a great leader of a great country, and I think we're going to have a fantastic relationship for a long period of time. And it's an honor to have you with us.
President Trump, it is a great pleasure. At the helm of China-US relations should stay the right course and ensure the steady sailing forward of the giant ship of China-US relations. I always believe that China's development goes hand in hand with your vision to make America great again. Our 2 countries are fully able to help each other succeed and prosper together. Over the years, I have stated in public many times that China and the United States should be partners and friends. This is what history has taught us and what reality demands. A few days ago, in the latest round of consultation, our 2 economic and trade teams reached basic consensus on addressing our respective major concerns and made encouraging progress. This provided the necessary conditions for our meeting today. Mr. President, I am ready to continue working with you to build a solid foundation for China-US relations and create a sound atmosphere for the development of both countries. Mr. President, you care a lot about world peace, and you are very enthusiastic about settling various regional hotspot issues. I appreciate your great contribution to the recent conclusion of the Gaza ceasefire agreement. During your visit to Malaysia, you witnessed the signing of the Joint Declaration on Peace along the Cambodia-Thailand border, to which you had provided input. China has been helping in our own way Cambodia and Thailand properly settle their border disputes And we have also been promoting peace talks to resolve other hotspot issues. The world today is confronted with many tough problems. China and US can jointly shoulder our responsibility as major countries and work together to accomplish more great and concrete things for the good of our two countries and the whole world. I look forward to exchanging views with you on questions important for our two countries and the world.
1 hour and 40 minutes later, the two leaders re-emerged and could be seen shaking hands at the conclusion of their talks. Trump said tariffs on Chinese goods would be reduced, so that's a win for China. The rest of the details are still to be announced, but it does seem that Beijing will be allowed to buy advanced computer chips from the United States, which was a key demand. Trump then boarded Air Force One without speaking to the media, ending his consequential tour of Asia. President Trump spoke to reporters on Air Force One after meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping.
It's a lot of different things, many of them very important. We're in agreement on so many elements, large amounts, tremendous amounts of the soybeans and other farm products are going to be purchased immediately, starting immediately. If you notice, President Xi authorized yesterday for China to start, did you know that, right? China to start buying in very large quantities of soybeans and other things, which I appreciated. That was a very nice gesture. And many other things like that. On fentanyl, we agreed that he was going to work very hard to stop the flow. I've agreed, as you know, I put a 20% tariff on China because of the fentanyl coming in, which is it's a big tariff. And based on his statements today, I reduced it by 10%, so it's 10% instead of 20% effective immediately. I believe he's going to work very hard to stop the death that's coming in. But again, it's complex because of what fentanyl is, what the precursors do. So I think you're going to see a big difference.
The world is closely watching for whether the two leaders can stabilize their countries' fractious relationship during the meeting, which caps off the US president's 5-day, 3-country visit to Asia. The global economy has for months been roiled by a tit-for-tat of mounting tariffs, export controls and other penalties hitting areas from high-tech goods to high-seas shipping as the US and China have vacillated between escalation and negotiation. A meeting between US and Chinese trade negotiators over the weekend in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, ended with both sides appearing optimistic that Trump and Xi Jinping could agree to a framework on navigating their ties going forward.
A high-level delegation from the Embassy of the United States in Sri Lanka made a courtesy call to the Hambantota International Port recently. The delegation, led by Jane Howell, Deputy Chief of Mission at the U.S. Embassy, also included Dustin R. Bickel, Regional Indo-Pacific Strategy Coordinator, Lieutenant Colonel Matthew House, Senior Defense Official, and Lieutenant Commander Ross Larry, Chief of the Office of Defense Cooperation. The visit concluded with a guided tour of HIP's terminals and operational zones, including container yards, vehicle handling zones and ship berths.
Speaking on the strong and evolving ties between India and Sri Lanka, Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Santosh Jha, highlighted connectivity and infrastructure as one of the key pillars of the bilateral relationship. He emphasized that connectivity extends beyond physical links like land corridors or pipelines. It also encompasses cultural, educational and people-to-people connections that strengthen mutual understanding. The High Commissioner made these remarks while attending a scholarship distribution ceremony at the Eastern University of Sri Lanka.
A total of 100 students from low-income families currently pursuing higher education at the Eastern University of Sri Lanka have been awarded scholarships by the Government of India. The scholarships were presented by the High Commissioner of India to Sri Lanka, Santosh Jha, as part of India's continued commitment to supporting education and strengthening people-to-people ties between the two nations.
There are several pillars of India-Sri Lanka relationship. One of them is connectivity and infrastructure. This is something that is the foundation of our ties. When we talk about connectivity, it is in all its dimensions, not just physical connectivity, setting up a land corridor or having a grid interconnection or a pipeline being built between our two countries. There are many more things than that. I mean, there is a cultural connect, the people-to-people connect that we talk about, the educational connect as we are here in this very esteemed university. Then you have, of course, the security and defense ties. This is the very foundation because we are in the same region. We naturally need to look after each other. Our security is intertwined and interlinked. We are not going to be prosperous on our own, and we are not going to be secure on our own. We depend on each other for both prosperity and security. There is, of course, today, when we look at the world, one thing that the world, any country like developing country like Sri Lanka or India would need is energy. This is an area where we have made a massive leap. I just saw today that India is now third or the fourth largest renewable energy producer in the world. We have gone from something like 28 gigawatts in 2014 to 257 gigawatts in 2025. This is multiples of 10, more than 10 times or around 10 times that we have grown. So this is something that is naturally therefore an area of attention for us. You would be glad to know, since I'm here in the Eastern Province, that we have a very large comprehensive package that was announced when His Excellency the President of Sri Lanka, Anura Kumara Dissanayake, went to India, 2.37 billion Sri Lankan rupees for the Eastern Province. It was agreed to be provided, under which 33 different projects will be done, which are all people-centric. It's not these very large projects get talked about mostly, but these are the small ones that really go to the people, affect them at the ground level. We have a very big housing program in Eastern Province. I think just in this province we have built more than 4,000 houses. We are currently building more. In fact, yesterday I was at the inauguration of Mahatma Gandhi Model Village in Ampara, and I was mentioning to the respected Vice Chancellor that we had the occasion, my first visit to Trincomalee as High Commissioner was to inaugurate a model village in Trinco, and I guess in Batticaloa we have already completed that model village. We also earlier this year inaugurated the teaching hospital in Batticaloa, which is a surgical unit there that has been set up through an assistance from India. We have provided support in different ways to 500 educational centers. We have built vocational training institutes. So there are, whether it is health, education, energy. I didn't mention in the field of energy, you will soon have the construction of the Sampur solar power plant. I think the tendering for the transmission line from Sampur to Kapalthure has already been issued, and the other one for building this plant is likely to be issued very soon. So there is a lot of development work that is going on here. We, of course, have given cultural grant, tourism promotion grant, in the sense for the development of Tirukuneshwaram temple in Trincomalee. And there is a lot of effort going on for turning Trincomalee as an energy hub in Sri Lanka, which will require, of course, creation of a number of things, from bunkering facilities to development of tank farms to building a multi-product oil pipeline. So with this, this is the broad overview of what we are doing with Sri Lanka.
The scholarships amounting to a total of 9 million rupees will be valid for a period of 1 year.
Officials from the Consumer Affairs Authority today conducted inspections of rice shops on 5th Cross Street in Petta.
Chairman of the National Transport Commission P.A. Chandrapala said at a press briefing today that the first phase of this program will involve collecting data related to the country's transport services. This program will commence tomorrow. Information on three-wheelers, school transport and other taxi services will be collected using a new QR code system. Subsequently, these transport services will be officially registered.
We will display a sticker. Additionally, we will distribute a flyer and a leaflet at three-wheeler parks, school van parks and filling stations. Furthermore, we will advertise this on our website and social media, especially via Facebook. Accordingly, the drivers and operators engaged in these services can use the QR code and the Google link to submit their information. They can also submit their information via our websites and by writing to the Commission's address. We will be collecting your information during the period from the 1st to the 30th of November.
The Maharaja Media Network has signed a memorandum of understanding with Radio Romania, the country's national public broadcaster. The partnership aims to bring Sri Lanka closer to the over 15,000 Sri Lankans currently living and working in Romania.
The Maharaja Media Network has entered building a memorandum of understanding with Radio Romania Broadcasting Company, the country's national public broadcaster, to bring Sri Lanka closer to its growing community of citizens living and working in Romania. The partnership was reached at the Capital Maharaja Group headquarters in Colombo between Siobhan Daniel, Group Director of CMG, and a visiting delegation from Radio Romania, led by Florine Brewster, Secretary General of Radio Romania Regional, and Andrei Critoy, Online Coordinator of Radio Romania Regional. This partnership will ensure that 15,000 plus Sri Lankans currently in Romania can stay updated on everything happening back home, from breaking news and entertainment to cultural stories that make Sri Lanka unique. Through this collaboration, Radio Romania will feature Maharaja Media Network's radio and news content on their popular Work and Live website, a digital hub created for migrant communities with FM, AM and internet channels in 18 languages, including Sinhala and Tamil. Radio Romania will serve as a new bridge for Sri Lankans abroad to stay informed and emotionally connected to their homeland. The Maharaja Media Network is Sri Lanka's largest independent media organization, operating 3 television channels, 5 radio stations, and a rapidly expanding digital media presence, reaching millions across platforms every day. This collaboration marks yet another step in Maharaja Media's global journey, building meaningful connections between Sri Lanka and its diaspora through the power of media, culture and community.
Northern Investment Summit 2026 is set to take place early next year. A media briefing to announce the summit was held in Colombo.
The Management Club officially launched the Northern Investment Summit 2026, an initiative aimed at unlocking the economic potential of Sri Lanka's northern province and positioning it as a regional centre for sustainable investment and innovation. Scheduled for the 21st to 22nd January 2026 at the Thiruvalluvar Cultural Hall in Jaffna, the 2-day summit is jointly organised by the Management Club of Sri Lanka and its Jaffna branch under the theme Invest in North, a gateway to growth and sustainability.
How can Sri Lanka inspire the world? Have we done that before? Yes. In 1996, when there was a young team going into the cricket fields, which was clear underdogs, which had so much of hurdles, but we beat and we won against all odds. We became the favorites of all the underdogs along the world who cheered for Sri Lanka. Well, is it because only we had a good leader? Is it only that we had good strategy? Or is it we had very dedicated team members? The answer is combination of these and beyond. Similarly, for Sri Lanka to emerge as an inspiration to the world, we have a good leadership. We are working on good strategy of how this country needs to go forward. But each players, each provinces, each districts, each citizen need to think and work how to make Sri Lanka the winner. Through this summit, we see how we can give economic democracy so that all citizens of this country gets an equal opportunity to contribute to the national GDP.
This event, organized by the Management Club of Sri Lanka along with our branch TMC Jaffna, is not merely a summit. It is a movement of transformation, a movement that aims to unlock the economic promise of Sri Lanka's northern province and position it as a regional hub for innovation, investment, and sustainable development. The management club, having started a quarter century ago, was formed to bring about greater synergies amongst managers, forging networking, knowledge transfer, and better facilitation of management and business practices. As an extension of the same, we are looking at extending the role of facilitating such networking amongst potential investors and opportunities largely nestled around the country and more specifically in the region's north, as we do have our branch in Jaffna. The northern province has long been recognized as a land blessed with abundant natural resources, an educated youth population, and vibrant entrepreneurial spirit, yet the true potential of this region has remained untapped for far too long. Through this summit, under the inspiring theme, Invest in North, a gateway to growth and sustainability, we gather today to bridge that gap, to transform vision into reality and challenges into opportunities.
This Northern Investment Summit 2026 focus on all 5 districts, Jaffna, Kilinochchi, Mannar, Mullaitivu and Vaunia. The preliminary discussion regarding the summit has already been held in Jaffna and is to be continued in all other 5 districts. I would like to firmly state that the outcomes of the summit will be lead to sector-wise sustainable development in each sector, including agriculture, fisheries, livestock, education, IT, renewable energy, healthcare, tourism, culture, heritage and SME. Promotion and opportunities for both local and international investors. Employment opportunities to the youths, job seekers and the vulnerable communities, and possible collaboration and partnership between the stakeholders in Jaffna district.
The summit to be held in January 2026 will not just be an event, it will be a catalyst for transformation. The Northern Province represents a frontier of untapped potential. With its strategic location, human capital, natural resources, and emerging entrepreneurial spirit, the North is poised to play a larger role as a vibrant hub for regional investment, trade, and innovation. As the National Investment Promotion Agency, the BOI is fully committed to ensuring the promotion of regional growth, which is integral to Sri Lanka's economic revival. We envision an inclusive development model, one that connects Colombo to Jaffna, Hambantota to Vaunia, and the world to Sri Lanka.
Supported by a wide network of public and private partners including the Board of Investment, Export Development Board, National Chamber of Exporters, Sri Lanka Tourism Promotion Bureau, Ministry of Industry, Ministry of Foreign Affairs and several provincial authorities, the summit aims to foster collaboration between investors, policymakers, academics and entrepreneurs.
The UNSCR 1325 at 25, celebrating 25 years of women, peace and security, organized by Pathways to Peace, marked the 25th anniversary of the UN Security Council Resolution 1325 in Colombo.
The UNSCR 1325 at 25, celebrating 25 years of women, peace and security, organized by Pathways to Peace, marked the 25th anniversary of the UN Security Council Resolution 1325 in Colombo. The UNSCR 1325 is the pioneering international framework for recognizing and promoting women's full and equal participation in building peace and security. Pathways to Peace, building inclusive governance and social cohesion, marked this significant milestone by celebrating women-led peace building in Sri Lanka. It showcased the amazing work of women's rights organizations funded by the Pathways to Peace, Women, Peace and Security Fund.
Canada is proud to support the Pathways to Peace initiative, a 5-year $6 million project implemented by Alinea International that aims to strengthen peace and reconciliation across Sri Lanka's diverse communities. The project is grounded in the belief that peace must be inclusive, equitable, and accountable, especially for women and girls, who are often excluded from decision-making spaces. I would like to take this opportunity to commend the government of Sri Lanka for launching its first Women, Peace and Security National Action Plan for 2023-2027, which we consider a bold and visionary step forward. Through Pathways to Peace, among other activities, we are collaborating closely with key ministries to support the implementation of this plan and to embed the principles into everyday governance. We believe that empowering women is not just a moral imperative. It is a strategic investment in peace, resilience, and prosperity. As we look ahead, let us identify new opportunities to strengthen the implementation of the action plan and widen its reach across sectors and communities. Let us reaffirm our shared commitment to a peaceful, inclusive, and just Sri Lanka.
The Pathways to Peace WPS Fund supports women's rights organizations working in its 7 targeted districts to implement projects furthering Sri Lanka's WPS National Action Plan and the agenda of UNSCR 1325 and associated UN resolutions.
Ki Jinghong, the ambassador of the People's Republic of China to Sri Lanka, emphasized the growing global role of the renminbi and its strategic importance for developing nations like Sri Lanka. He noted that the internationalization of the RMB is not intended to replace existing systems, but rather to strengthen and refine the global monetary framework, offering more currency choices and enhancing resilience of the global financial safety net.
As the world's second largest economy and the major trade nation, China is actively participating in the reform of the international monetary system and steadily promoting the internationalization of the RMB. The use of the RMB in cross-border trade settlement, reserve currency functions, and investment tools is steadily expanding. Its role is increasingly prominent, especially in the fields such as energy, finance, and infrastructure. Today, as we discuss the internationalization of the RMB, our hope is to provide a pragmatic supplement and a refinement solution within the existing framework of the international monetary system. We aim to offer market participants more currency choices, increase resilience to the global financial safety net, and to broaden the institutional space for shared development. This reflects both the spirit of multilateralism and openness to cooperation, and respond to the tendency of the diversification in the international monetary system, in particular for the developing countries like Sri Lanka. This process is of significant and practical importance. Broaden use of the RMB helps diversify the structure of foreign exchange reserves, reduce exchange rate risk, and provide more stable and low-cost settlement channels in bilateral trade, investment, and financing, thereby strengthening the local currency stability and macroeconomic resilience at a critical period for Sri Lankan economic recovery and structural adjustment. Expanding cooperation with the RMB will undoubtedly inject fresh momentum into the trade facilitation, investment attraction, and financial system modernization.
The RMB Internationalization Forum 2025, organized by the Sri Lanka-China Business Council in collaboration with the Bank of China Colombo branch, was held in Colombo yesterday, highlighting growing financial cooperation between Sri Lanka and China. Central Bank Governor Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe and Deputy Minister of Finance Anil Jayantha were among the key speakers at the event.
5 excise officers have been arrested in connection with the robbery of 102 million rupees from a commercial establishment on C Street, Colombo. According to the police, the officers had conducted a raid on the 5th of June, claiming to act on a tip-off regarding the presence of illegal narcotics at a gold jewelry manufacturing premises. Now, during the operation, they took 102 million rupees in cash and detained 7 individuals. Police further stated that 4 of the initially detained individuals were produced before the Maligaukanda Magistrates Court on charges related to the possession of a stock of illicit cigarettes. Subsequent investigations revealed that 50 million rupees of the seized money was returned, while the remaining funds were allegedly misappropriated. The owners of the business lodged a complaint with the Criminal Investigation Department, prompting a full-scale inquiry. Now, following the investigation, the 5 excise officers, including an excise inspector and 4 corporals, were arrested this afternoon. They were presented before the Colombo Chief Magistrates Court and have been remanded until the 7th of November. The suspects, who are residents of Koskama, Hongballa, Donkotua, Millava and Batiklo, are also expected to be produced for an identification parade on the same date.
Nearly 100,000 young men have left Ukraine since Kiev eased movement restrictions in August in an effort to tackle conscription crisis.
Citing data from the Polish border guard, news outlets said 98,500 Ukrainians aged between 18 and 22 crossed the border in September and October, compared to just 45,300 between January and the end of August. Ukraine exempted citizens under 23 from a ban on military-aged men leaving the country during martial law in hopes of discouraging parents from sending their teenage sons abroad and allowing men to return home without a fear of persecution. Ukrainian Prime Minister said the measure would help citizens living abroad to maintain ties with Ukraine. The authorities have struggled to replenish the military as troops continue to suffer heavy losses and lose ground to Russian forces. Ukrainian commanders on the front line have complained that troop shortages are allowing Russian soldiers to infiltrate across fortified positions. Kiev's mobilization drive has sparked public outrage and protests, with many videos showing officers ambushing military-aged men on the streets and showing them into vans going viral on social media. According to Ukraine's border guard service, around 50 men have drowned since 2022 while trying to cross the Tisa River into Romania.
The second semi-final match of the 2025 Women's Cricket World Cup between Australia and India teams is currently underway. India, chasing a target of 339 runs, are currently at 231 runs for the loss of 3 wickets at the end of 36.2 overs.
The match is being played in Mumbai, India. Australia won the toss and elected to bat first. Australian captain Alyssa Healy, who came to the crease, was the first wicket to fall for just 5 runs. Elise Perry, along with Phoebe Litchfield, added a 155-run partnership for Australia's second wicket. Phoebe Litchfield scored 119 runs off 93 balls and scored her 3rd ODI century. Elise Perry, who scored her 37th ODI half-century, made 77 runs in total. All matches of the 2025 ICC Women's Cricket World Cup can be watched live on TV1, the official local broadcasting rights holder of the tournament, and streamed online at www.sirasatv.lk. And with that, we wrap up Primetime News for tonight. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Sterling Machado.
And I am Piruni Karunaratna. Thank you for joining us. Good night.